everything in the right time and place.
All right.
So the next one. The windows open. Not here. So our business. Talk to the little butler. You say yes when you hear your name.
Yeah. You hear me?
Yeah, I did hear you. Don't everyone. Michael Fernandez. Sarah Goldenberg. Maya Hernandez.
She's here. She's not
Bracha Sim, if she's not in, that means she's not here. Bracha Sim, Ashkina,
here.
change places.
Yeah.
Rushka Kazacha.
Here.
Good morning. Sarah Keller. Yeah, okay. Devora Kapelovich. Chala Kriko. Roshon Lag. Devora Namdar is here. Rushka Shira Princeland. Rachel Princeland. Sharon El Sasson. Shayna Solkowitz. Sophie Guliofer is here. Iyar Zigerman.
Here.
Iyara, how's it pronounced?
Yara. Yeah.
Yara?
Yara.
Yara Zigerman.
Yeah.
Does everyone have the sheets we gave out 2 weeks ago?
Shoe.
If not, just get, oh, there's more coming. You weren't here 2 weeks ago? Yeah. Who doesn't have it?
You're probably
You
not.
gave it up? Huh? Later, separating the shops. Everyone has?
You actually see it.
Gave it 2 weeks ago. Do you have it? Everyone has it now? I didn't give you? Okay, does everyone have it? Have it 2 weeks ago? That was the last one.
Take notes.
You sure? I have one. All right. Okay. Yeah.
I'll just look at it, right on the media.
Okay, please hold on to it. If you're not holding on to it, just return it afterwards. Okay, so we're up to question 23. Question, the second sheet, question 23. We'll start again with question 22. Question 22, what are the 3 conditions?
You have to put the seductive box under there if you keep it open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's start about.
So I just put the one.
Hopefully you can put it.
Yeah. Hopefully this doing the point. Question 22. So question 22, what are the 3 conditions necessary to commit Beidah? Right, so Beidah is separating on Shabbos. We know on Shabbos when you separate the good from the bad and the bad from the good. So there's 3 conditions. What are the 3 conditions? You have it down? Huh?
Immediate use.
Immediate use. Okay. What is it? Has to be by hand. And the other one is taking the good from the bad. These are the 3 conditions, and there are exceptions to the rule. But generally, there's always exceptions with a reason for it. Not just an exception because the exception is because it doesn't fit. Because even when there's exception, in this case, it's still keeping their rule, but It's just, the reason why there's an exception, because it's still, we'll soon explain, you see what I'm saying? Okay, so, good, right, so, when we say immediate use, one of the conditions are immediate use. What does immediate use mean? Everyone knows what that means? Does it mean immediately?
Like if you're prepping for the meal.
You're
but
prepping for the meal, right, doesn't have to be right before, you're prepping for the meal. You came back from shore, we're having a meal in an hour, I need an hour to prepare, that's called immediate use. And we say by hand, what's an exception to the rule? So actually, let's, we'll get to it in 24. Let's go to 23. 23. Give an example of an exception to the condition of taking good / desired from bad, not desired. Now, this should be clear, right over here, good / desired from bad, not desired. You should understand this, that the reason why I'm writing both, because when we say good from bad, it doesn't necessarily mean good, bad. Wasn't it both good? Or they're both bad? It has to do with what you desire. What makes something good is because you desire it. Something bad because you don't desire it. It could be two things that are mixed together, like cashews and almonds are mixed together. They're both good, but one of them you want, one of them you don't want. So the one you want, we call good. The one you don't want is called bad. So you have to remember, say good from bad, bad from good. The good means what you want, the bad is what you don't want. That's really what the definition of good and bad is. But it has to be two different items. Yes.
What happens is, it's like something that is mixed, two things, okay? I want both, but I don't like it when it's together. Like, both of them are the good, because like, both of them I want.
When do you want it?
Now,
Let me get the question. Two things mixed, you want both now, but you don't want it mixed together. You're going to have both now. Is that okay to separate on Shabbos? Is the question clear? Two foods mixed together. You want both now. You just don't want to eat it together. You want to eat it separately. You eat this now, a little later, in the same meal, right? Is that okay? Are you allowed to do that on Shabbos? No. Someone has to have an answer. No. Two items mixed together. You want them separate. You want them both now for immediate use. Immediate use means you could separate before the meal, for the entire meal, you want to separate. You want to have it for during the meal. So you separate, you just don't want it together, you want to eat it separately. Maybe you want to give it to your friend. Your friend wants to eat one of them. Actually, it's a little different case, but it's going to be the same halacha. You take it out to give it to your friend. You don't want it, your friend wants it. Take it out to give to your friend. Okay, it's going to be the same halacha, but this makes it a little more complicated. So just think about the first case. The answer is, could I do that or not?
probably you can do that. The question is, like, what is first? Like, is there something that like is first? Like, because
I'm not
it says that if there's one that I don't want or one that I do want, I could do it, but I should do first. I should take out the good out of the bad.
We said that you want both. That was the case. I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure why you're getting stuck in this. I'm trying to help you understand this. This case, sometimes I realize, okay, it's confusing because of that reason. I'm not getting at what's confusing. We said you want both.
Right.
And don't want it together. You're separating them because you want to eat this now. This you're gonna have a little later in the same meal.
Yeah.
Same meal. Now we said that before the meal, I could separate everything I need for the meal. That's called immediate use. That's one of the conditions. So now, the case that I'm mentioning now, is that permitted or not permitted?
Yeah.
What? Yes. Because you're gonna eat both in the meal. To the same meal, you get it? You understand? I want you to understand also, not just to know the answer is yes. If you understand it, then you're able to apply it to other cases. Okay, clear? And the same is also if you're separating for your friend, because it was so much good for your friend that's going to eat that meal. Are you allowed to separate before the meal for other people? Yes. There's one, not everyone is preparing the food. There's 25 people eating by meal. There's 2, 3, 4 people preparing, right? So they're preparing, separating for everyone. So you're allowed to separate for another person if it's right before the meal.
If you're like allergic to nuts, can you take like nuts out of the salad? Because it's like bad.
And what are you doing with it? You're not going to eat it.
Right.
So now it's something that you don't desire. Right? That you can't do it.
Everything.
I feel like if you're allergic.
If you have a friend who's going to eat,
Yeah.
I like the concept.
if you have a friend that won't eat it, then you can take it out and give it to your friend. Because then now it's good for them. Now you could separate. But if you don't want it, just take it out, then you can.
And if they're good, because they wouldn't put nuts in the salad, they kill you on chocolate.
Okay, question 23.
All right, let's go.
Give an example. Oh, we're in the middle of this question. I started explaining good desire. Okay. So let's do this again. Give an example of an exception to the condition of taking good from bad. So right, so we have all these conditions and there's always exceptions. One of the conditions is that you have to take the good from bad. What's an example of an exception to this condition, which means that you can take bad from good
If it's the normal.
and still it's okay as long as you have the other conditions? What's an example of that?
If it's the normal way of eating a food like a hard-boiled egg or an orange.
Everyone get that? When you peel an orange, you take the bad from good. Are you allowed to do that in Shabbos? Yes. You have to have the other conditions. But you're allowed. Why? That's how you eat it. That's the way of eating it. It's the normal way of eating an orange is to peel the orange. It's the only way you can get to the food. Theoretically, you could get another way, but this is the normal way. You peel it. You take off the peel. So this is okay as long as you have the other conditions. Remember, you're eating it right away. Another example would be cantaloupe. Cantaloupe is also when you cut it open, and then you scoop out everything that's inside, you take the bad from the good. So actually, when you take cantaloupe, you do cantaloupe, there's a way how to do it. You're supposed to try to scoop everything out at once. You're not supposed to, what do you mean at once? It means you're not supposed to go one layer, then oh, there's more, I'll take more, keep on. You try to take everything together. Why? Because if you take off the seeds, and then there's still little seeds left, when you only have some seeds, you're able to eat it. You spit it out of your mouth, just like when you eat watermelon. When you eat watermelon, on Shabbos, you're not allowed to take the seeds out of the watermelon, separate it. The way to eat watermelon on Shabbos is to eat it and spit out the bits. That's how you eat it. If people don't eat it that way, fine. So yeah, it's not that simple. You're not allowed to take a piece of watermelon and just take out the pits, because it is a normal way. Maybe not everyone, but it is a normal way to eat watermelon is to eat the watermelon and spit out the pits. You can eat it this way. It's not like, like eating an orange. Put the orange in your mouth and start, spitting out the right. It doesn't work. So the watermelon works. Cantaloupe, if you take out most of the pits and there's only a few seeds left, you can't really continue scooping. So what you want to do then is, if there's something left, you should shake it. You shake it as much as you could. Whenever a couple of seeds are left, you're actually not allowed to take off. So what you want to do is you want to try to take everything with one layer. Take a bigger spoon or a knife and peel off the whole thing in one layer so you get everything off at once. Are you allowed to use a peel? Okay, that'll be the next question. Peel. 24. 24?
I have a question. On what you said on the content. Are you allowed to like take us, let's say I have a few seeds left, okay? Am I allowed to like take with a spoon, like not the seeds off, but I'm like taking part of the fruit itself off with this, like, and the seeds come off, because that's the part of the seed.
Yes, you could take off part of the fruit.
Yeah,
or
like with the
seeds.
seeds, yeah, like not pick out the seeds, it's just like.
Yes, but what would you get out of it? If you take out the fruit with the seeds and you can't eat the seeds, and then, huh? You're allowed. I mean, I'm only trying to understand your question. That is yes, if that's what you're asking. And then what? Then you have seeds and.
No, and then that pizza, I like will eat.
Oh, okay, get it. Okay, so the question is, if you can't take off the seeds, I'm going to take fruit with it. You just dig into the cantaloupe and you take off some more fruit with the seeds. So now you're taking off the fruit from fruit. Yes, that is a way to do it. You could do it that way. It should be significant. It's hard to give an exact amount. It should be a little more than what you would like to make sure that there's no problem. I want you to understand something else. It doesn't always work, because for example, I don't know if this is coming up, the flying. Yeah, we're gonna have it later about flying the soup. Actually now, it's coming up. When it comes to a fly inside liquid, and you want to take the fly out, the Alter Rebbe is very strict about it. Alter Rebbe says, do not take the fly with a spoon. Don't take a spoon and take out the fly with liquid together. Because when you do the fly in the liquid, you're just going to throw everything out. So it's all considered waste. Alter Rebbe is strict. Other things are lenient. This is different than a flying soup. The flying soup. But here, you can still separate, so this should be okay, but it doesn't work in all situations. Okay, let's look at the question, the last question of the page, question 24. Give an example of an exception to one of the other conditions. So, the other condition I'm referring to is, can you guess which other condition? There's only three, so we spoke about, correct. Right? I'm referring to the one that you have to do with your hand, not using a utensil. So what's an exception where you could separate using a utensil? Peeling a fruit with a knife. You take a knife to peel a fruit. Using a knife, it's a utensil. Am I allowed to do it? Now, one of the conditions is to be by hand. So I can't peel an orange with a knife? You could, because the orange is not assisting you in the separating. The orange is helping you, it's just making it easier, you shouldn't get yourself dirty, it's something that's just too difficult, makes it a little easier, but it's not to help you separate the two. Meaning, when is a vessel, it's not a problem, it's making it a little easier for you, but as long as it's not helping you in separating, which means, listen carefully to what I'm saying. When you're using a vessel to help you separate, which means you have two things mixed together, you're trying to separate it, and it's a little complicated. And the vessel is going to help you separate it. That's the issue. The knife is not helping you to separate the two. There's no difficulty in separating a peel from an orange. Like a peel and orange, and we need something to help you like separate the two because they're so mixed together, and you need something to help you separate. The orange peel and the orange is not so mixed together. I need something, a utensil to help you like separate it. You do it with your hand, also you separate fine. The knife is helping you technically, not with the actual definition of not a definition of separating the two. You get what I'm saying? So it's a little hard to understand, but I'm trying to explain this to you. Hopefully you're getting it. It's only instead to help you separate it. That's not the case.
How about
Yeah.
peeling a cucumber?
Huh?
How about you take
Right.
that and peel
So
it?
how about peeling a cucumber? A cucumber, many opinions say you could use, a peeler you're talking about now?
I know you're not supposed to use a peeler because you use that for everything, but can you use a knife?
Right, so a knife. So let's talk about a peeler in general. A peeler in general is not the same like a knife. No, a peeler is a utensil that's designated for separating. Now, using a peeler is much more, is much stricter because the peeler is a utensil that's designated for separating. There's a difference between using a regular utensil and a utensil that's designated for separating. Get that? It's two different categories. When using a regular utensil, we say, okay, it's separating, but is it helping you separate the two? Like the orange? No problem. It's not really there to assist you. It's not like something that's complicated, needs something to help you separate it. A peeler is designated for separating. That's why a peeler is much more of an issue. However, even with a peeler, if the peeler is being used for a food that's edible, let's say you're peeling an apple you can eat the peel. So a peeler can use an apple because it's all food. You can eat the peel too. But if the peel was to be used for something that needs to be separated, what would be an example? You mentioned a cucumber. A cucumber is also not that simple because many people eat cucumbers with the peels.
The Persian cucumber.
Huh?
The Persian cucumber, you can eat the peeling, but some of the other peelings are kind of hard to eat.
Right. So if it's a cucumber that people can eat the peel, you can use a peeler. If you can't eat the peel, then you can't use a peeler. Then you use a knife. The knife is okay. Clear? So turn to the next page, page 25. Which of the following is considered rare? Yeah, page 25. The last sheet, page 3, it's question 25. Which of the following is considered rare? Remember, being considered rare doesn't imply that it's usher, it's prohibited. See 22. What do you see on 22? What did I write for the question of 22? Look at 22. I wrote, what are the 3 conditions necessary to permit vitamin? To permit vitamin. In other words, vitamin is a different, the way it works is a little different. Not that it's a different halacha, but on a practical level, in terms of how it works, it's a little different than any other halacha. It's like you say, I'm going to tell you, there's a way how we could permit cooking on Shabbos. Does that make sense to say? In what way are we going to allow you to cook on Shabbos? It's cooking, but we're going to allow you to cook. We're going to allow you to carry on Shabbos. What's your thing? You can't cook, you can't carry. Baited is something that you actually, in other words, the technical word of baited, what you're doing is permitted in many situations. Because when you are taking good from bad, and you're allowed to do it, you are actually separating. Technically, that's what you're doing. But it's allowed, it's not called malacha because that's called the way of eating. But you are actually separating. So that's what I mean to say. You're going to see a bunch of examples over here from A to K, which the question is going to be, which of the following is considered braided? In other words, the question is not, are you allowed to do it? You're not allowed to do it on Shabbos. I'm asking you, is this considered separating? And if it's considered separating, if it's called braided, it doesn't necessarily, if it's considered braided, then you have conditions where we're gonna say, okay, this is called separating. And therefore, it will be allowed in this situation, it will be prohibited in the other situation. If it's not considered braided, then there's nothing to talk about. In other words, there are certain things that are just not considered, not in the category of braided. If it's not a category of braided, then there's no problem. If the answer over here is gonna be yes, that is considered braided, what do you mean it's considered braided? It means you're not allowed to do it? That means this is separated, and now it will be allowed under certain conditions, or it won't be allowed. So let's look at one at a time now. A, peeling an orange. So the question over here, is this considered separating? If I'm peeling an orange, is this called separating? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Is considered separating? Yes, you're separating. It doesn't mean that you're not allowed to peel an orange at Shabbos. It means it's called separating. And we have the conditions. So when are you, like the question, you have the question 22, when do you allow? B, big and small spoons mixed together. Is this considered separating? Yes. C, rinsing fruit. Is this considered separating? No. Rinsing fruit is not separating. Whole and broken pieces of food, should have spelled it out. I mean, pieces of food, like cashews, almond pieces, a box of almonds and some broken pieces, and it's mixed together, and I'm taking out the broken from the good pieces, or whichever way I'm doing it. Is this considered braided?
Yeah.
No,
No.
no, it's not braided. Why is it not braided? Why is it not braided?
They look the same.
What?
They look the same.
Okay, anyone else? Yeah? Why is it not braided? Why isn't it separating? I'm separating the good, the broken from the good. Why is it not braided? Remember, in order to have a situation of braided, it has to be two separate items mixed together. If it's the same item, it's not braided. It's the same item, just one is broken, one is whole, so what? That's not called mixed together. So there's no problem, which means it doesn't matter. Now, later, tomorrow, what, doesn't matter. It's not separating. E, scooping pot, soup from pot. I wrote it's complicated because when you scoop soup from a pot, what depends what you take out. Taking out liquid. If you have a soup with liquid, and I think I'm scooping out liquid, it's all liquid. If I'm taking out pieces from the soup, that depends how big the pieces are.
But if like you're
Let me just explain. When you take out pieces from the soup, it can be considered braided. You take out the pieces from the liquid, that would be braided. Doesn't mean you're not allowed to do it, but it means you have a case of braiding. You got to figure out. You got to go to the back to the conditions and say, do I have all the conditions? By the way, if it's something big, like a big potato or a big matzo ball, and you're separating that from the liquid, according to many opinions, it seems that it's not separating, because when you separate a large item, solid, from liquid, it's not a mixture because there's no correlation between them. When you have small pieces floating around the liquid, it's perceived as a unit. When we have a big piece in liquid, it's not considered as a unit together with the liquid. Want to add something? Or say something? No? If seeds from watermelon, we discussed. G, fly in soup, not very appetizing. So Don Teneba says, so what's the way of doing it? I said before, what you can't do Huh? The Rebbe says you should not use a spoon.
You could
Like
guide
pour
water
it
and the
in.
soup and then you pour it.
Did everyone get that? If I have a fly in my soup, yeah, fly, are you watching me? I have a fly in my bowl of soup. So what I could do is, I could blow it until it gets to the rim, to the edge. I cannot blow it off, I cannot blow the fly out, then I'm separating the fly from the soup. I'm allowed to blow it till it gets closer to the edge, then I pour out the fly with the soup, obviously, because that's the only way you get out the fly. And that's it. Now I'm good. Now, is this considered separating? Getting back to the question. What would you put for, is this considered separating by flying soup? Yes or no? It is. Does everyone get that? This is separating. You have to have the three conditions. Do you have all the three conditions? Is this okay? Now, here's another example, by the way. One of the conditions is using the vessel, and you are using the vessel, but it's fine. It's not called using the vessel. The vessel is only a problem when it's assisting you in separating. This is just, vessel's not helping you separate. This is just, it's inside a vessel. So what other condition has to be kept for pouring out the fly from the soup? What? It has to be used immediately, which means close to the time of the meal. If you're just putting away the soup in the fridge, you're done with the soup and there's a fly in there, you cannot pour out the fly because you're not eating the soup.
That's why you just have to have a little bowl of soup after the meal.
Yeah.
The dessert course.
So you take another bowl of soup, exactly, right?
I'll sacrifice that.
H, matzo ball from soup, we discussed that already. Is that considered separating? Answer is no, it's not considered separating. It's a lot, unless it's a very tiny matzo ball. What about a regular sized matzo ball? Lakshin from soup is separated because it's thin, so it's considered mixed together with the liquid. So again, the conditions. You're scooping out lakshin from the soup. Practically, if you're going, you can use a ladle because you don't want to get your hands dirty. Eating it now. Jane, rinsing fruit that's dirty. Fruit became dirty, it fell on the floor, but this dirt's got stuck to it. You want to rinse it. Is that considered separating? Separating. Are you allowed?
Yeah.
If
If you're gonna eat it, right?
if you're not eating, you just want to put it away, you have to leave it dirty. You can't rinse it because you're actually separating it. And just rinse it off. Put it back into the fridge or the box. Peeling an apple, is that separating? No. But if you cut it open and you take out the inside, obviously that's going to be separated because you're taking out parts that's not edible. So peeling an apple does not mean the whole entire process of the apple. 26A, is it permitted to cut or slice fruit or vegetables into, this is a new halacha, right? Okay, so we're done with separating. Any questions about separating? Okay, so now we come to the halacha of toichin, grinding. You're not allowed to grind, which means dice very thin. Is it permitted to cut or slice fruits or vegetables into very small or thin slices?
No.
Not allowed. What about cheese, eggs, and meat? Could I slice the cheese very, very thin? Could I smash the eggs, smash it, make it very, mash it into tiny little pieces of the meat? Could I do it? What's the answer for B?
No.
Huh? You have to be afraid to say the answer. You get it wrong, just say it. What? Who remembers? You remember?
You said about the egg that you can like smash like submerge, so it's not.
You said what?
I remember when you were talking about like the egg salad and it was talking about this, like we can
Mixing
like,
the eggs with mayonnaise, you talking about?
yes. It is like,
So I'm not talking about mixing eggs with mayonnaise, I'm talking
I know,
about
but
the
not
eggs.
A lot of slices.
I'm talking about just mashing the eggs, slicing the eggs, mashing the eggs.
People make like salad as long as it's not like completely not.
It depends what,
I'm not talking about mayonnaise, I'm talking about the eggs
Like
itself.
no, but the anyway, it's
So the answer is, so what's the answer to be, yes or no?
no.
Are you allowed
it
to?
depends. If you do, how you do it on your regular basis.
There's no difference between A and B. I want you to think of a difference between A and B. Look at it and see what you can think about. What's different about A and B?
Talking about fruits and vegetables and beans like your, like the food, that's how.
All the malachas come from the Mishkan. Grinding was in the Mishkan. What did they grind? They would grind the herbs that come from the ground. So the malach of grinding is by foods that come from the ground. Get it? Because it doesn't come from the ground, there's no malacha of grinding. There is an exception, and that is if the grinding makes it edible, like if you're cutting up the meat very, very thin to feed an animal, that animal cannot chew, let's say raw meat, you start giving the animal, and by cutting it very thin, it makes it fit to be eaten, then the grinding is actually accomplishing something. It's really accomplishing something, then that will be prohibited, but that's not so practical. C, in connection to B, can one use an egg slicer?
Yes, and I don't remember why, but it confused me, it confused it.
Okay, so to understand, so we're gonna go to D, and then we're gonna go back to C. It'll be easier to look at D first.
Okay, cool.
Look at D. Then found this D. In connection to B, can one use a grater? A grater, now I'm not talking about a grater for eggs, but eggs, a grater for eggs. A grater for cheese, let's say. A grater to grind the cheese. You know what a grater is?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, are you allowed to use a grater for cheese?
Mm.
Okay, so we just said that there's no issue of grinding with foods that don't come from the ground. However, if you're using a utensil that's designated for grinding, because the utensil is designated for grinding, those for grinding foods that don't come from the ground, but it is designated for grinding, the Chacham said this looks like weekday activity, and this we prohibit. So a grater, so you can't use a grater to grate cheese. You can take a knife and do whatever you want with the cheese, very, very thin, but to use a specialized utensil for grinding the cheese, that you're not allowed. Get it? Now let's look at C. Go back to C. In connection to B, can one use an egg slicer? What's the answer here? Yes? A grater is no, an egg slicer?
You said yes a few weeks
Right,
ago, I
why,
don't remember why.
why is that,
Slice is not grinding.
what?
Slice is not grinding.
It slices, it's not grinding. In other words, it's not grinding it very thin. And making it into slices, it's not making it to thin, it's slicing it. You're allowed to slice something on Shabbos, not every time you slice something means you grind it.
So you're not allowed to use.
Grinding is
that.
when you try and make it very thin. That's not what the egg slicer is not designed in a way that's gonna make it thin. Makes it into slices. Slices, not grinding.
So that means that you're not allowed to use that, to do the eggs, I don't know how it's called,
Grater.
To use it what?
for the eggs,
Yeah.
like the one that you, like. I don't know.
Try to use the eggs.
Um,
Eggs, use egg.
Like
Excellent.
gradients.
yeah.
Like you're grating a potato to make potato coat, that kind of grater she's talking about.
Yeah,
Like
Okay.
you're grating potato, you're saying, and then you can't use that on chop because it's grating.
Oh, you want to put the egg on the grater?
Yeah,
Which people don't usually do. Oh, but you asked, I didn't get you asking it. You're saying, could you use the grater for the eggs? Which people, a grater that's not meant for eggs, correct?
yeah,
But you can use it for eggs. The answer would be no, because a grater is a cave that's designated for grinding, because that's what the grater does, it really grinds it. So correct, you cannot use a grater for the eggs. E, what about crushing salt or pepper? Are you allowed to crush salt or pepper?
no,
The answer is no, you cannot crush it.
Yeah, that's great on YouTube.
Yom Tiv. So Yom Tiv, you're allowed to grate if, okay. There is a machlokes about crushing pepper on Yom Tiv. And that is, some opinions say that you could crush pepper on Yom Tov because if you would crush it before Yom Tov, it wouldn't be as fresh. So because there's an advantage doing it on Yom Tov, we're allowing you to grind or crush pepper on Yom Tov. Some prohibit it, they say it's not much of a difference, that you can do it before Yom
Is
Tov.
it like cutting like a salad and you're making it like as really salad, or you have to cut it like super thin? Because you can't do that with Shabbos.
A salad, yes. If you're cutting a salad, a vegetable salad, very thin on Yom Tov, that's totally okay. Yes, because the Torah allows you to do halacha for food. And the Chachamim, even though they made restrictions, but because there's an advantage having a fresh salad on Yom Tov, it's totally okay. But when it comes to pepper, let's say, having fresh pepper ground on the same day as opposed to the day before, there's not much of a difference. So that is a machlokes, and Osdoba says you should do it the shinu, which means do it in an irregular way. Figure out what's irregular. One of the ways, if it's those special things that you turn, one of those, then you have to crush it and let it fall onto the table. Instead of falling into the salad, it's going to fall into the table first. There's no other way to do it a different way. If it was not in the thing, then you would find a different way how to do it, but it's already, this is how it's ready in that thing. So then you want it to fall onto the table, and that's called the shinu, doing it a different way. Yeah.
if I like, how I regularly cut the vegetables, I cut it thin, just like that's how I cut the vegetables on a regular basis. Is it like, it's not like I'm cutting it on purpose thin for Shabbos? Is it like, okay? Or
No, it's not
like
okay. No, it's not okay. You're cutting it very thin. That's not okay. You have to cut it thicker than what you usually do. Okay, Shabbos, everyone.